Hi everyone, I'm Audrey and this is It's Odd. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm really glad you're all here. So in today's video, we are going to do a Mediterranean style turkey meatball. This is really fast to put together and even to bake. I bake it at 375. It only takes 15-20 minutes depending on the size of the meatball that you make. Easy weeknight meal, easy prep. You can make large batches of these. They freeze really well. They store in the fridge up to 4 or 5 days after you make them for lunches or whatever you need them for. And they are really, they've got a lot of good nutrients in them as well. So I hope that you like this recipe as much as we do. Without much more chatter, let's get cooking. I am back with a taste test of the meatballs. Let's show you what one of these looks like here. So that's this would be good. I made these with turkey because that's what I had, and two, I thought it'd be kind of neat to have a turkey meatball instead of a beef meatball with these flavors. This actually would be delicious with beef or pork as well, or a combination of whatever ground meats you want to have. If you really want to up the nutrient value of them, you could even add a little bit of like pureed or ground up liver as well. That would be great. For these, I used, you'll notice I used kale in my recipe. You could also use spinach. You could use frozen kale, frozen spinach, or fresh spinach as well. The spinach might be a little bit more traditional flavor. I like the kale just because of the nutrient value, and I like that it kind of holds itself. It doesn't get sort of as, I don't know, small, or I'm not even sure how to say that, but it doesn't break down as much as the spinach does if you use spinach. Spinach also has a pretty strong, distinctive flavor, and I wanted something a little more mild for this particular batch, just partially because Asher likes the kale better, but you can do either if you're making these. You also can, if you want, two tips. You can, if you want them to be more fluffy meatball, you can add a bit of tiger nut flour to the mix in place of like a breadcrumb, or you could do the croutons ground up that I have on this channel. You could grind them up and use it as a breading type filling that you would traditionally do in a meatball or a meatloaf. I didn't, one, because a lot of you have trouble with tiger nut, so I'm trying to do a balance of recipes for you, but also it works just fine without it. Also, a lot of people typically use egg in their meatballs. You don't really have to. If you haven't put so much stuff in that they don't hold together, there's no need to do that. The other tip is that you can, I did mine sort of freeform. You saw me kind of mixing it by hand. If you don't want to do that, for whatever reason, you don't like touching meat, or who knows, whatever reason you have, or you want a little bit more finely ground meatball, then you can do all this in the food processor. Just put everything in there, blend it together. Don't do the pre-chopping then, or do a rough chop instead of the mincing of things, because it'll get minced up in the actual food processor. You can just do a rough chop of things instead. And then you can mince it in the food processor, and then it makes a really fine ground meatball. So but it's a little bit more pasty. You might need to use a scoop. So those are my tips. You can do any of that stuff. Guys, you can also, if you don't like Kalmata olives, you can use black olives. You can use any olive you want. If you don't like olives, just leave them out. It's not that hard. If you don't like oregano, with all my recipes, if there's something you don't like, just change it up. Make it what you want to make it. All of mine are Renos anyway, so you can Reno mine too. Okay, let's have a little bite and see how they are. It's good. I like these. The Kalmata makes a really distinct flavor, that type of olive. So like I said, if you don't, and I actually really like Kalmata olives, so that it's great for me. But if you're not a fan, maybe a traditional like California black olive would be really good. They're quite mild, but you still get the olivey-ness to them. And these are great. I eat these with just roasted sweet potatoes or by themselves, or with salad is great. That's what I'll do with these today, is have a big salad and have these as my protein. And then they've got a bunch of veggies in them too. So I hope you guys like these as much as we do. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks everybody.